Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, Mr. Anger. If you haven't seen one of my shows before, yada yada yada, parental advisory, blah blah blah, you've been warned, and let's continue on with the episode. You may hear some snoring right now. That's because of our new family member. And I'd like to introduce my new family member to the world. This is Daisy. Hey, Daisy! Say hi to the people. Oh, don't kiss me in the mouth. Don't kiss me in the mouth. Say hello. Oh, yes. Look at the camera. Show the people who you are. Ooh. Yeah. This is Daisy, our new dog. She is a French bulldog. And we found her at the local animal shelter inside of one of the kill shelters. Oh, buddy. Oh. Yeah, you good dog. Yes, you are. Oh, I'll let you down. Oh. But this is our new family member. My wife has always wanted a bulldog, and we went through a bunch of animal shelters. We went through every animal shelter around this area, through different counties and towns, and oh my goodness, it's such a tragedy to go through and see. Oh, you want down, girl? Come on. Oh. It's such a tragedy to walk into an animal shelter these days because you got all these dogs staring at you with hope in their eyes, and you can tell they know where they're at. They know they're on death row. Just some of the looks, in their eyes, just saddening. It's heartbreaking. But we found her at a local animal shelter. Actually, it was an animal shelter that I forgot about. Actually, it was right next to my old college that I graduated from. I completely forgot all about it. Drove by there one day after work, and my wife has always loved bulldogs. She has English bulldogs, French bulldogs. She's always loved them. And we walked in, and she saw Daisy right there, and next thing you know it, we have her. And it's great. It's been a great experience. We adopted her. We thought somebody was interested in her, so we didn't think we were going to get her. My wife was so ecstatic when she saw her, and was so happy, and to finally be able to get a bulldog, because bulldogs are expensive. English bulldogs, French bulldogs, they're very expensive. I've looked into them because what my wife and kids want, I try to find a way to get it for them. But unfortunately, I do not have cash raining outside of my butthole here. I gotta, I got limited funds, and I would love to give my family everything they want, but sometimes I can't necessarily do that. And when the opportunity does arrive that I can or will be able to, I do it. Uh, I just like to see my family happy. Um, but I've done a lot of research on English bulldogs and French bulldogs, and they're very expensive, and there's a lot of reasons to it. And, just like the French bulldogs here, they can't, not by their own kind, they can't be impregnated by their own kind because they're so top heavy that when they try to mate, it's impossible for them. So they have to be artificially inseminated. And to have puppies, they can't have them naturally. They have to have a C-section. It's, there's a reason why they're so expensive. These are man-made dogs. These are not genetically out in the world. These are crossbreeds, basically. And you're paying for that right there. You're paying for that. That's pretty much what you're paying for. And the cheapest I ever seen an English bulldog or a French bulldog, I think, was about $500 to $600. And I don't know. I've never been much on paying people for breeding. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I'm sorry, when I could go to the local animal shelters, I've seen so many purebreds inside of animal shelters, it's ridiculous here in the last few weeks. I've seen Siberian Huskies, I've seen Akitas, I've seen Coonhounds, I've seen Beagles, I've seen Pit Bulls, tons and tons and tons of Pit Bulls, and that is tragic in itself. I've seen a Doberman, I've seen Rottweilers, I've seen, you name it, I could pretty much find you something in an animal shelter around here. Um, but we would never thought in our wildest dreams that we would find a dog, such as an English bulldog or a French bulldog, as she is, in an animal shelter. So once she spotted her, we filled out the application in case the other person dropped out and decided they didn't want her. And it turned out it was true. They didn't want her. They didn't come pick her up by the time that they said they would. And so we ended up adopting her. Best $25 I've ever spent in my entire life. Yeah, I adopted that dog right there for $25. I mean, I got all the shots, all the immunizations, shot records, everything. The only thing I have to do is go get her fixed. She even came with a Jeep, or what is it, the microchip uh, for her, that when we go to have her fixed, we can put the microchip in just in case she runs off. Because this is such a big area, I would recommend. Normally I wouldn't recommend microchipping just for an indoor dog, but then again, at the same time, she does like to go outside. She likes to venture outside sometimes, and she likes to try to escape sometimes. And I understand that. Dogs like to roam. Dogs like to do what they do. So just in case she does escape, I would like to have that in her, so that way we can, if she shows up at somebody's animal shelter or animal hospital, they scan and we can be alerted. Um, but yeah, it came with all of that. They gave us a nice, expensive dog bed, shampoo, leash, collar. She's got a flashing collar. Oh my goodness! The person, the animal control officer, came around the corner with a collar. It was pink, or it was white with little pink ovals on it, and then these ovals stand up off the collar about that far, and they're lights. It's pink lights, and you press a little button, and you can make them flash. You can make them flash faster, or you can make them hold steady by just pressing the button a certain amount of times. Oh my goodness, my girls, and my wife have gone nuts over that. But I've been around breeders before. My mom bred Dachshunds, actually miniature Dachshunds, uh, and I I didn't like. I mean, no offense to my mom or anything, and to my grandmother who bred. She bred oh god, what was it? Rottweilers. I was about to say pit bulls. Rottweilers. Um, but I felt sorry for the mother dog, the mothers of the dogs that were being bred, because that's all they seemed they were, just being knocked up and miserable all the time, taking care of babies, and that's no life for a dog. I'm sorry. Dogs need a life and need to have, not just be constantly bred all the daggone time. But anyways, I prefer going to a shelter because you could find almost anything there. We never thought in our wildest dreams that we would find one of those there, and I'm tickled to death that we have. Of course, when we got her, she was left out in a cage for so long. The crates that had little grates, it's little square grates. People keep some animals in. Well, this dog was found in a crate or in a cage in the backyard, and set out in the backyard for all of her life, pretty much, in a tiny ass cage. So tiny that she has scars right here from where the cage, or from the pressure of the cage in her cheeks right there, cut a nice little scar, and they're still pretty fresh. We keep an eye on that right now, make sure it stays clean and dry, and so that it can heal properly. So we expected it not to be potty trained, because the owner, once it was caught, or once the dog was seized by the animal control for being left out in the hot sun for months straight, the owner or whatever, gave the dog over to animal control. Said, well, she's not potty trained, and she likes to chew on things. So I was expecting to have a big battle when this dog came home, of teaching it how to potty train and teaching it not to chew on things. But fortunately, I think that was an excuse that the owner gave to keep the dog out in the daggone crate, because she's done fine. She's made a few mistakes. I think 2 mistakes since she's been here. Yeah, 2. She's had 2 accidents since she has been here, and I can contribute that to her excitement, just as with any animal, of getting a new home, and I can contribute that to, just generally being a dog, not knowing what to do in a new environment. So I can't really blame her for those 2 accidents. Most of the times when she wants to go, she'll sit at the door. We'll put the leash on her and take her outside. She chews on her toys. We bought her some chew toys, and she hasn't chewed on anything of ours. So everything that was told to the animal control officer was clearly and obviously wrong. But like I said, I hated going to animal shelters, though. I mean, I do. I like that people go, and it's a sad experience, but believe me, it's worth it. There was a beautiful pit bull that I would love to have, me personally. My wife even thought it was a beautiful pit bull. That was one time that me and her went without the kids to go look and see what this one shelter had. And when we stopped, it was a beautiful blue pit with crystal blue eyes. I mean, this thing was beautiful. We took him out, played with him, nice as can be. I mean, muscular, but most pits are muscular kind of build. You look at it and you think it'd probably eat your face off, but no, it was actually beautiful. I mean, it's just a beautiful, friendly dog. I hate that pits have gotten such a bad reputation, because I mean, we saw a ton of pit bulls in the shelters. Ton of pit bulls, and it's such a tragedy. It is, because I've had a pit bull before, and I don't see nothing wrong with the animal, nothing whatsoever. An animal is just like anything else. It depends on how you raise the animal, and how you treat the animal, and how the animal's going to act. You raise it to be a guard dog, or to be a fighter. Of course, it's going to be aggressive. Of course, it's going to act, more volatile around other people. But I've been around pits. My cousin has a pit. My friend has a pit, and I love them to death. They're friendly. They're sweet. They'll lick your face off. But I've never had a problem out of pit bulls. Never. And this negative stigma that everybody has about pit bulls is just ridiculous. Yes, there's probably some aggressive pit bulls out there. It's not because they chose to be that way. It's because somebody made them that way. It isn't the dog's fault that they got a shitty owner that taught them the wrong behaviors. But, feel what you may, I digress on this subject. I mean, I like pits. I wish I could have got it, but unfortunately we rent. So, our landlord said, because of insurance policies, no pits, no Rottweilers, no Dobermans, and no German Shepherds. 4 animals that we couldn't have right off the bat just because of insurance purposes. But talking to animal control and to actually a friend of ours is a lawyer, he was saying that insurance companies can't do that in the state of Virginia because there is no pet discriminatory or anti-discriminatory laws against pets in the state of Virginia. So, whatever. We're not going to rock the boat and go ahead and adopt a pet and risk where we live just to be dickheads. We're going to, get something that we know we could keep and not risk our home at the same time. So I'm glad that we did find Daisy when we did find her. And I'm glad that my wife and girls got a dog that they really wanted for quite some time. I mean, I've been listening to this for years. We want a bulldog. We want a bulldog. Da, 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 da. My wife, she's never been around dogs all that often, and she was afraid of bigger dogs because of hearing about bigger dog bites. But here's the thing, small dogs bite too. Actually, the 3 times that I've ever been bitten has been by 3 small, tiny dogs. 2 were Pomeranians. 1 was a Chihuahua. And guess what? All 3 of them, for no daggone reason, just decided to bite. I don't know why. But hey, whatever. the difference is with a small dog, you're talking about a wound maybe that big, or maybe that big, depending on it. Like if it's a pug's mouth or like her mouth, it'd probably be about that big. And then of course teeth size. You're going from teeth that are like this in a small dog to teeth that are like this in a bigger dog. So yes, a bigger dog is going to cause more damage, more extreme tears and damage to a human being if it does bite, and that's why it's more prevalent than small dog bites. Even though small dogs do bite more than bigger dogs, you will always hear about the big, bad, and ugly ones because why? The size, the determination of the wounds, how big the wounds are. Uh, so, I mean, I've sat down. I mean, people went off on a lot of animals here since I've been alive. I mean, right now it's pit bulls. I think the last time it was Dobermans. The society was going off about, and then society was going off about Rottweilers, and then society went off a little bit on canines. I'd be like, oh God, canines are awful, all because of one incident or a couple incidents that happened. And it's just astronomically stupid. Uh, I've had canines. I've had a canine when I was younger. Never had a problem out of it. I've had a Doberman. I've had some of the most what be considered an aggressive animal. I've had an Akita. Akitas are very aggressive, and they have a very natural instinct to protect their territory, and very fiercely, very fiercely. I've seen the Akita that I had take down a big ass deer, just run off because it just ran onto our property by mistake, and it just ran off and took that deer down like it was nothing. So I mean, I've seen territorial dogs, but that's just a dog being territorial. And I didn't mind it because I know who's coming up to my house. Somebody knows better than to just come up to my house. And I warn people, hey, listen, I got to protect the dog. If I'm not around and you come up, you might have a problem. That's called being a responsible dog owner. I didn't just allow my friends to go up to my house and walk on into my house knowing that I got a big ass Akita sitting there that would tear the hell out of them. That would just be irresponsible on my part. And I would get blamed, and rightfully so. I don't know. People just seem to go off about stupid things anymore. But anyways, that is our new family member, Daisy. I wanted to introduce introduce her to you guys. Um, I'm happy that my family's finally got a pet, and everything's going good for them, and she's working out for the family. I'm very happy and tickled to death with it. I encourage people that if you want a pet, go to your local animal shelters. Just go around. Check every shelter around you. You'll find what you're looking for. Believe me, you'll find it. I mean, there's purebreds galore. Why spend a bloody fortune on something that you're going to have to spend a fortune on later down the road and the proper health care and upkeep of the animal? When you got so many that are sitting on death row and so many to get put down because people don't want them. And it's sad. I mean, just that's a needless life. I mean, what was the purpose of that life? Oh, it was born to make us happy and to keep humans companion, or to give humans a companion, but nobody wanted it, so it ended up in a shelter because it was a little bit bad and didn't know how to potty right, so it gets put down because nobody wants it. I mean, what was the purpose of that life? It didn't have a purpose. It didn't. Let's help our animals that already exist have a purpose in life. And then maybe after every homeless animal is adopted, then maybe we can consider breeding. But then I would say only as needed. Not just breed to throw up for sale to make a profit. No, breed to, hey, I'm really interested in this animal. I would like to have this animal. I will pay you a great deal of money to have a puppy. If your dog has a puppy, then yeah, fine. But to actually force them to breed and all that stuff, I just don't agree with that. There's so many animals in shelters. Go to your local shelter. Help them out. When I was young, or when I was in college, I did a lot of projects for the the animal control group, and for pounds and for pals and for a lot of the animal groups around here. I work with them to do projects for them, and I hope it got some people to at least go adopt some animals. So I don't know. Maybe this might get somebody to go adopt an animal instead of paying a breeder. Hopefully, hopefully. But if not, I mean, heck, do what you're going to do. I mean, people will do what they want to do. That's just the way of the world. It's just my opinion, my 2 cents worth, and take it or leave it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Anger. I just wanted to introduce you to my new family member and go off a little bit on about dogs. And we'll talk to you later.